Hey everybody, welcome to Golden Guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend. Every Tuesday night we'll be doing this. Hey everybody, welcome to Golden Guys. Is that me? Thank you for being with me for the first day. Okay. All right, so we're watching the chat. There you go. Welcome to Golden Guys. I got my normal crew here with me, the crew. Let's talk about a little bit of DS Comics. Let's lead it off today. We always bust Mike. So.
Well, what's up, everyone? Yeah, if you want to start off, I got some books I'll show. You want to do that?
Yeah, you want to see books now, or you want to see? Yeah, just do that. You know, the other guys are in the chat. You know, we're tired of introductions.
Everybody knows us by now.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows us, but
we're here to do other shit. So let's go have some fun, everybody. Go DS.
All right, yeah, get some books out of the way. So,
what's behind that door?
Which one?
The skinny one.
That's probably a closet. Yeah, that's my closet.
Like the torture room.
The no room.
The whole room is the
Safe word. Safe word on the outside.
Yeah, so I picked up this. Really hard to find.
Nice.
Schomburg.
Dark cover. Real Life Comics 11. This thing is so big. I matched it up with a slab, and I think it will barely fit. But it's
yeah. I have a 35, and I got it sent back.
Really?
Yeah, so I matched it up. It'll fit. I see them put from edge to edge on some of these slabs. So this one should
maybe it'll go.
Fit,
yeah.
But, yeah. This is this title's not hard to find, but this one is just really hard to find.
Really
probably a year straight trying to find a copy, and this is the first good one I found. So and it's decent. It's like a 4 or 5, so it's nice.
Yeah, nice.
I got that. I got.
Who's the cut? Is that Schomburg? Who is that?
Yeah, it's Schomburg. It's not Schomburg though.
And he did almost every real life.
Yeah, he did that really famous one that's really valuable with Hitler standing in the middle holding the bloody skull.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's worth a lot. That's Schomburg.
I like the one with the obviously there's an elephant on it, but it's the story of Rudyard Kipling, The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
That's a good
What
one.
year was that from, DS?
I don't know. I'd have to open it up. I'm guessing probably. I don't know. Probably 42, based on.
Yeah, they're early 40s. Hang on, let me look at one.
It's got to be early 40s because it's huge. I mean, this thing is. I got it in a. Just to give you an idea, this is taking up almost this whole bag, and this is a magazine size holder.
Oh, yeah, wow. they're a little bit bigger than you think. They're almost like not as big as Warren or anything like that. I mean, you might have to do a magazine.
Here's a Bronze Age book, and here is the real life book.
Wow.
You can see the difference in size there. This thing fits within the real life book.
Yeah, 13 would probably be 42. Let me look here.
Yeah, this is 11. It's probably 42 or 41, just based on the size. I noticed after 43 they started to be a little smaller.
Yeah, I got 35. But
what is your number?
Number 11.
Number 11. Yeah, that's nice.
It's came out
May of 43.
March 9th.
Yeah, so the date would be May 43.
And it's interesting. It's one of the
gap, almost a year and a half gap. Is that 2 months? I don't have my glasses on. I can't read.
Yeah, and it's one of the few of his that's not signed with any signature at all. There's no signature on it.
Right, there's no Zella or anything.
No Zella, no Schomburg, no Alex Schomburg, no nothing. So
for those of you that don't know in the chat, Zella, if you see Xela, that's an Alex Schomburg. That's just him writing his first name backwards. It's not his only signature, but he did it on a bunch of things like Thrilling Comics. Some of the real lives he did it on. I don't know him doing it on any of the Marvel stuff, but
I think
pretty much he did it. Everything he did that airbrushed. He used
yeah.
Yeah. The a good example would be that Starling 49.
Yeah, another one I got recently. I've just really loved this cover for a long time. It's an Atlas book, JD. You'll appreciate it.
Oh, nice.
Sale 17.
Nice.
I don't know how well that's coming in, but
oh, that is is that the guy with the guy in half?
No, it's just a headless guy.
That's the Headless Pieta cover.
Okay, yeah, it is a Headless Pieta cover.
Yep, that's a good one. Yeah. Is
that
Bill Everett?
Yeah, Bill Everett.
Yeah, Bill Everett. Okay.
So yeah, it's just one I've liked for a long time, and I just got a good deal on a 4.5. You know, price on some of the higher end atlases are going up, so I'm trying to pick up the ones I like. And
Atlas has been on fire recently. I mean, if you just look at some of the CGC boards, what's been up there, that's going for what used to be 200 to 400 is now going 600, 800 in less than a year. I mean, so
yeah.
one of our main topics. So,
and that's, you know, there's not a whole lot on the census for some of these Atlas books. A lot of them are common, but some of them are pretty tough, man. And that one, it's around, but it's, you know, it's not easy to find. I got this one.
I love that one.
3 copies of this now, so this is a 5.0. There's only 3 census. There's a 5, a 7, and an 8. And I've got the 5, and I've got 2 at CGC.
Now, who have you heard did the cover? I've heard different people did it.
It's Reed Crandall.
Okay, that's who I've heard do it too.
CGC doesn't recognize it yet.
They don't recognize anybody on that one. I know it's been ever since it's got to be Reed Crandall. So,
hey, what was the year on that previous one?
Yeah, this one is 1954.
Ah,
so you know, right at the end of pre-code.
that's cool. I like that one a lot.
I just love the colors on it. It's sort of hard to see that head on the bottom, man. That's just so badass and creepy there. And then of course, classic bat in front of the full moon.
Yep.
And
I mean, Atlas didn't show a lot of blood and guts and violence. It had the after effect it always had. Always had, like, the monster was twice as better looking on anything Atlas, in my opinion. But the pre-code horror stuff that sells is the blood and guts, and the more gore, the better. So,
yeah. And then you all have this one. This is a Daredevil 27.
Very nice
I
book.
bought this at Heroes Con, but I've upgraded, and I got a nice 6.5 off white to white.
Nice.
Just a crazy Charles Bureau torture scene.
Yeah, I'm just saying, is that a bureau all the way through?
Yeah. Charles Bureau, it's just crazy. Cement shoes. She's being whipped with a cat of 9 tails. It's just crazy, crazy cover.
She loves it.
So nice grade on this too, 6.5. That's higher than I've been looking for this book for probably 4 years to find a good copy. And I finally have one. So
that's high grade in Golden Age.
Yeah, this has been really good.
You know, that Uncanny Tales cover reminds me, the way they have the little boxes on the right side reminds me of some of the old Marvel.
Oh yeah.
I have one. One of mine has the boxes on it. I forget what's.
Yeah, a lot of the Atlas books have
the Russ Heath cover, though. It's an astonishing one. Hang on one second.
The other thing I picked up is just this really cool case. I have no use for it, but I figured it'd be cool. It's from Torpedo Comics, and it's just a slab case with a nice magnetic strip that opens, and you can put a slab in there. And it's nice. It's felted on the inside. It's got like a nice vinyl outside. It's sturdy, and it's got like this magnetic strip here that opens it. And it's just a really cool holder, high end. I mean, this thing is really nice.
Is it heavy?
I like that. That's better than the things I keep. Like this.
I wondered how heavy they were.
That's what I keep my stuff in.
Oh yeah, that's similar. Yeah,
I like that Torpedo one.
They're not paying me. I just saw this on an Instagram post, and I was like, man, that's so badass. I got to get one. And I bought 2 of these. I don't really have a use for them, but they're just so cool. They're solid. There's like the framing is solid, and it's like a felted interior on this thing.
Look at that.
And it's got a little string that you can pull to get the slab out, and it fits nice and snug, and it's got magnetic.
Can we see that Starling 49 some more?
Sure, man. I love shows. This is the only.
That's my favorite book.
Because I don't have really anything else to put in here, so I'll just throw this.
Look at that. If anybody doesn't know, that is the robot cover to get in comics.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the #1 sci-fi cover. I mean, definitely
Planet 1. What about Planet 1?
That's a good one, but then I could throw in.
There's a couple Lou Fines, like Wonder World or Mystery Man or something. But I mean, this is definitely, arguably one of the top. You could argue it's #1.
Katie Keene. The Katie Keene, very popular.
Yeah, I wondered if those cases added a lot of weight to the is it heavy?
I bought 2 of them, so the other one I got my terrific 5 in.
Nice.
I don't know, they're pretty light. Let me see how much it weighs. It's like, not really. I mean, it's light, dude. It's like a cardboard box before you put a CGC slab in to ship it.
Cool.
It's got like plastic or cardboard in the inside, but it's sewn up nice, and it's just yeah, it's just awesome. I just love these. I don't really have a use for them, but I just had to get them because they're so cool.
Pretty nice.
Very
Which
nice.
book is your number one? Is that Starling your number one book?
Value wise, you mean?
I don't know. Sure.
I'd say the most valuable book I have is probably my Black Cat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's probably worth.
Actually, I think you get more for the Starling.
I don't know. I mean,
I've seen 6.5s go way high. So a 4.0 is, I mean, recently I've seen 6.5 just like last week or something. So
yeah, I mean, I got a 4.0 Startling. It's probably a $7,000 to $8,000 book. The Black Cat's a $9,000 to $10,000. Then the Terrific is probably a $5,000 to $6,000.
And you have the Horrific 3?
No, I don't have that one.
And if you had to keep two,
Like Zach cover?
No, the Don Heck cover. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all right. I don't think it's that good. It's a guy. It's a head with a bullet shot through the skull.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's a reprint of another book. Or
I'm not big on it. People are paying like $1,000.
22, I think.
I'm not paying $1,000 a point for that. But it's not even on my list of my top 20 PCs.
Yeah.
and if you had to only keep three, what two or three would you keep?
Like if I had like the place is on fire and I can grab 3 books. Well, this might disappoint some people, but I would grab the 3 most valuable because you can find all these again. And really, I'm sort of a value collector / investor. And I would probably save the Startling, the Black Cat, probably the Terrific, maybe the Chamber of Chills 19. Well, that's restored. I mean, that's probably similar.
Yeah, but what if you had those? In the insurance would cover that.
Well, I have so few books, my insurance covers all of them. I would grab the rarest ones probably.
Okay.
So probably a Terrific I would grab.
Yeah.
That's definitely the rarest of those. I don't know. I'd have to go through. Look, this is DS, and I both know that in a fire, grab the 2 boxes with slabs. It's pretty easy. I don't have that much stuff anymore. I'm really trying to keep my collection at 100 books or less.
That's what I'm working on, but I already got over 100 slabs.
Yeah, I'm tired of having a ton of books.
Having 50 books right now.
100 books, that's good enough, man. And I'll just sell off the ones at the bottom as I fill in more stuff at the top. So my 100 will keep becoming better and more valuable.
That's good. That's a great way to do it.
TJ's
It's tough
sitting
at
there
first.
going,
Huh?
TJ's there going, 100 books? You must be out of your mind.
He said 100 in each
Speaking
stack.
of, let's shout out the chap here. Caleb, thanks for joining us right off the bat. Perry Comics, Mr. Gretzky, good having you guys. Chris Barrett, how are you? Always very good. What else we got here in the chat? Comic Books NYC, one of my favorites right there. And DS, thanks for joining us. Evan, good having you here. TJ, very cool. Cole Porter, Cary Grant, very cool. Skippity Buddy, Knights of Old, I saw him. Marvel Hunter, there we go. Annie Tomberlin, Bonafide Comics, very cool. And that's us. Well, we got some stuff. I think somebody else wanted to show something here. Talk to me, Mike, Knights of Old.
Oh yeah. Well, I got some news. The big news is I got a haircut finally.
Yeah, apparently that was the big mention in the chat.
And I'm drinking the new beer. I think you might like this, DS. It's called Rogue Bat Squatch.
Hold it up a little bit.
It's got a very PCH.
Yeah, hold it up so we can see it.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go. Bat Squatch.
Of course, I'm drinking a beer with a Golden Age elephant on it right there.
Nice.
Some things
That looks like the cover to Blue Bolt 110 by LD Cole. It has like a crazy winged monster.
So yeah, I got a few things to show off. First of all, if you missed my live chat that was like 5 minutes long, shame on you. But I unboxed my timely pop from China because I don't know. I never bought a pop, and this was like a super expensive one, I guess. And but I got it from some seller in China, and I unboxed it to see if, you know, God knows what I was gonna get in the mail. But hey, everything seems to be fine. So there's that. useless plastic. This came in the mail yesterday, which is
very nice.
pretty awesome. The so this series, American Comic Book Chronicles, by Roy Thomas's company, the same company that does Alter Ego magazine. They have been doing these books that are really awesome. It's just packed with info, and they've done the 50s all the way through the 90s, and this is the first 40s book they've done, 1940 through 1944. So I've been waiting for a while.
First
So
wartime.
far, I've noticed a few things that maybe aren't right, but
Little
so far,
Roy Thomas again.
I mean, the timely stuff, sometimes I'm sensitive to that, but they're doing a good job. I feel like it's packed though. I mean, this is going to take me forever to read. Like, look at all that text on like every page.
Thrilling Comics. There you go. More Alex.
They're really thorough in these. So, and I've already learned about a bunch of like pretty cool female heroes that I didn't know about. Like,
maybe we should do a story time with you every 15 minutes, and you just read from the book once a week.
Oh God, I'd probably fall asleep. It's kind of like a textbook, but there was a pretty cool from Smack Comics, I think. Diana, have you heard of that one? It's like kind of like Wonder Woman, but that was a new one I haven't heard of. That was pretty good.
Hey, Bubs Comics, thanks for joining us. Very cool.
And then let's hear from the man in the control center, 12 Stories Underground.
Yeah. Paul, how's things in the cellar?
They're going wonderfully. I'm hiding in the cellar so that they can't find me at work.
Nice.
I'm about 1 week away from finishing a project, so it's been crazy.
Is that a lead-lined room?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a Faraday cage around it.
Nice. So even Homelander can't find you down there. That's good.
The Boys. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that show's awesome, man. I binge watched the whole season already. That was really, really good.
Check it out.
It was awesome. I loved it.
All right, so I kind of had a good week with but I can't show them because they're at Comic Link still because the auction's still going on. Picked up really low priced, but graded 4.5 and 4.0 of some Golden Age books. A Planet 68 and a Wanted 53, the last issue of the series, and a very scarce book. Actually, only 2 or 3 on the census. This is the second highest graded. Got it for not much at all, but real excited about that. So I'll show you that. I'll unbox that on this probably in a week, I guess, if they got it by now. So
Well, tell them the significance of the 53 for you.
oh, it's a John Buscema cover. It's drink. I guess that's what he wants. There you go, Paul. It's a John Buscema cover. Also in there is Mort. Knights of Oleno's name. Mort Levi. Sound familiar?
Oh.
He did some Thrilling Comics, and he did some of that.
Mort Levi.
That wasn't Steve Rogers. Remember in the 50s, he was Jeff. Or Jeff, what was that guy's name? The not Steve Rogers Captain America in the 50s. In 1946, it was like
I forget his name.
Jeff something. There was a few issues where it wasn't Steve Rogers. This other guy picked up the mantle. Wasn't like anybody else. Wasn't like a Falcon or Winter Soldier. This was totally different.
I feel like that was retcon though.
Oh yeah, they totally did that. They dumped that. It's only for a few issues, but that guy did it. And he's also known for working in the 30s on a lot of stuff. And this is one of his last works he ever did, so it's kind of cool. It's actually, they think, the last work he ever did, so it's kind of cool. Good book.
Oh.
He's done a lot of things.
I can show you the wins that I got.
By the way, he invented the Heap. He's the guy who invented Heap from Airboy. He started with Air Fighters, and then he was doing all during the war. He was writing those books. He invented Heap. That's what he's most known for.
I'll show you the wins I got.
Nice.
So it took forever for them to send this stuff, but
A Connect or a link?
I did Comic Connect.
Yeah.
I did
I
pay by
love that.
check, so whatever. It takes them a long time, even though the money gets withdrawn, way faster than they send it. But finally got the Marvel 3 out
History
here.
3. That is a really good condition.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, it's really nice.
Now, did they say that was restored?
Yeah, there's a little bit of glue on the
That's
spine.
not restoration now, right? How
But
much?
I can probably get that removed if I want.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, I didn't really realize it, and that's probably what drove the price up a little bit, was how this is actually an office copy from Funnies Incorporated, which is where they developed most of the stories for these early timelies. Like Everett worked there, and Borges.
Oh, Carl Borges stuff there? Nice. I like this stuff.
But that's pretty neat. And
That is.
I was hoping to maybe see some writing or something on the inside, but no go. So wasn't.
Who'd you want to see on it?
Well, I mean, there's.
He was hoping it was like a pay copy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, you were thinking of that. Okay.
You never know, right? I mean, this
Right.
was in their office, 1939. So that's
It could have
pretty
been
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird cover. Like this dude with like
it's
no
one of those
wig and
weird
stuff.
ones that
It's really
Like,
strange.
I asked why you liked it so much. You're like, I'm just missing it,
Well, I really like the Everett story, Submariner in it.
Oh, okay.
This is when he actually stops terrorizing everybody, and actually the police lady convinces him to attack the Nazis instead. So divert that anger over there. So I don't know. It's really cool.
Is that a Schomburg cover?
Yeah, it's his second one for Timely. He did Daring Mystery #1 first, and then this.
Yeah, his early stuff, like his first few, are so different because, he was working with guys like Frank Paul, who did a couple Super World comic covers back then, and so they're very pulpy. And then it was very quickly after that he developed his own style to the more recognizable one. But he doesn't have very many in that style, but those are very pulpy and very cool and very hard to find. I love it.
I like this gold.
Yeah, the Buddha thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Hey, Bonafide Comics has just wondering, do you guys like having a top Golden Age book on the census? You mean like having the highest graded one on the census? The answer is yes. I have one. It's a Jungle book, of course. Jungle 69 and an 8.0 or 8.5, I think. Also, good pages. But I'm pretty sure it's rare. I mean, you never know.
I would be into it if I was selling it, but
yeah, I just keep it that way. I didn't really care it was the highest grade.
I don't care about that.
Look,
that's actually worse because then you have to pay way more to get it, probably.
Yeah, there's a couple things in gold is more prevalent in Golden Age collecting. Obviously, there are certain status symbols, and collectors pay huge premiums for these status symbols. It's like buying
church.
Lamborghini's not possible to go to the grocery store. The only reason people buy a Lamborghini is so that other people can see that they got a Lamborghini. It's like a status symbol. So pedigrees are like that.
I like pedigrees,
but not
specific things.
Yeah, and even more than pedigree is the highest graded
census.
Anybody who has a highest graded copy, when they post it or show it, they will always say, this is the highest graded. They're not like, look how beautiful this 9.2 is. It's look at this highest grade on the census, and then they'll get pissed if one down the road gets graded higher by like a 9.4 because now they don't have the highest graded anymore. And it's like a status symbol, and you got to have a lot of money and a lot of you got to be into sort of like status symbols. It's like an elitism thing, and it's it's impressive. Anybody who has a highest graded book on the census for Golden Age is really impressive to own that, and they're always nice books, but you really got to show out a lot of money over because the third highest graded looks about the same, and it's a fraction of the cost as the highest graded. Like the highest graded Startling 49 would be over $100,000
easily.
You go 2 grades down, you're looking at 35
15.
something like that. So it's a huge premium for the status symbol. So I'm hoping I wouldn't mind having the highest graded, but I'm not paying a premium. But what I like is buying a book that only has like 5 or 6 on the census, and buying a raw book and sending it in and coming back the highest graded.
That's what happened to me with the 8.0. That's how I got it. I mean,
then you get a Lamborghini for free, basically.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day long. You know what I mean? But I'm not selling out $1 million for a car. But if I get one for free, yeah, of course not. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, I bought that whole collection of the Fiction House from a guy that I was waiting for. There wasn't much in there, but I was able to sell a lot of Planet and Fight, and none of the Fight ones I wanted. He only had like 60 to 100 books. Books maybe, right? And I pulled them out and I got them. And one of them, there was like 5 or 6 I was showing people Jumbo and everything else that really nice. And one that stood out was the Jungle 69. Not Jumbo 69 would have been nice, but Jungle 69. And I'm like, I'm in the sand. And actually, when that guy came back, the highest grade, I still was pissed. I still think they undergraded it. That's how crazy I was. I'm like, that was a much higher grade in my opinion. But I can understand the pages and everything else. I looked at it from the standpoint of this is way above any other Golden Age book I own as far as quality,
Getting the highest graded is like the equivalent of getting a 9.9 or a 10 in a modern.
Yeah.
It's hard. But again,
you gotta sell it soon because chances are over time it might get overtaken,
I mean, someone could find anything,
Yeah.
The Edgar Church thing.
Well, remember when Edgar Churches were the highest? Everybody said they're always going to be the highest grade, but that's not necessarily true anymore. You see a lot of books that grade higher.
Yep, especially I've seen more recent pre-code horror.
The Churches will still cost more, but
yeah.
You know what I do a lot of times? I will just spend an hour or two. I do research every day on comics, and it's not always shopping on eBay, although I do that a lot. But I'll just go through, like, I'll pick an Atlas title, and I'll just go on the census, and I'll get a notebook, and I'll just write down every issue and what's the highest graded. And then I'll keep that, and then I'll go shopping for Atlas books in that title. And when somebody's advertising, like, hey, find plus of this, normally it's nothing spectacular. But when I look at my notes and the highest graded is a 5.0, if you end up with the highest graded book of anything, there's somebody out there wants that status symbol. They will pay up for you and make a profit. I bought a Note 13, really nice shape on eBay for like $350, and I sent it in. The highest grade on the census is 8, and then it's 5. 8. Yeah, I think there's an 8 and a 7. Mine came back 7.5, so I had like the second highest graded copy that I bought on eBay for a few $100. I thought that I had a chance to get high. I didn't think we'd go that high, but I looked at the census. I knew this was a steal because there's no 9s on the census for a book like that. So I'll look at what the census numbers are for particular titles. And, pre-code horror, there's a lot of titles that don't have higher grades than like 6s, 6.5 or 7. And you can find raws out there that are higher, that, if they get close to that, they demand a premium because second or third highest graded is still a good book. So, I do that a lot. Usually that's just to sell, though. But, I mean, if I end up with one that's close to the highest graded, it's cool.
Yeah, if you have, like, even second or third highest, that's a good selling point,
Yeah.
All right, now we're done with the show and tell portion.
No, I got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the highlight?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, this all select. That looks so much better.
It's a lot higher grade than what I usually get, but since it was from bound volume, it went a little cheaper.
That's nice. That's actually, I don't see that often,
And I've been looking for one. So for some reason, the stupid glare sucks. But for some reason on this cover and all select 2, there's often the registration's off, so you'll get like a blue strip that's moved to the side, and then like you could always look at Cap's ear is a good way to tell. And this one is like spot on, so I didn't mind. It went higher than I thought it would go, but it some people have told me it was kind of on the cheap side, and then I found out that whoever, I don't know if it was the owner who consigned it, but a previous owner had paid, I think, like 4K more than what I got it for. So
Nice.
in that sense, I did okay. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
this
good.
is one of the last real main key timelies that I was really.
Is that the first time all three of them were on the same cover?
I don't think so, but what I do really love about this is there are no sidekicks, and this might be the first one that has no side, all three, but no sidekicks. There's very few.
By
Books.
Bucky, by Toro,
Yeah,
by Nomura.
no Bucky, no Toro. They,
Nomura was after that, right? She was like a couple of years later.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it looks pretty cool in this like black, whatever these things are called, these protector things. But,
Condoms.
nice as DS's book, fancy book there, but and
Hey,
this one's gonna stay in the slab since there's really nothing on the inside that I care about. This is all just for Schomburg greatness. So.
how's the how'd your Wonder Woman do?
Oh well,
Because
so,
I got mine at CCGC. I just found out I got my 3 Journey into Mystery 83, Avengers 1, and Strange Tales 110 all got blue labels. So I took a big.
oh great,
So I'm happy with that. That's the first step, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't see
I
anything.
don't like purple labels. It's always good when you can get that off your chest.
yeah. The well, I emailed them with the email that I emailed Brittany.
She's pretty helpful.
DS gave me her info, and she was on like some chats on the community, Reggie's channel, I think, and she was pretty nice. At first, she just tried to give me $20 to send it back as like a credit, and I was like, that's not even enough to send the book back because I'm not gonna like not insure these or whatever, And so she's like, fine, whatever, just send me. We'll deal with that after we get the book, which is a little weird, but I was like, okay. So I FedEx them overnight, which wasn't cheap, and then sent her the receipt, and it sounds like she's reimbursing me that. But they've had them like a couple days now, and it still says like scheduled for grading, and it's kind of like, I was really hoping for like a walkthrough return on this since I paid for walkthrough. You pay for walkthrough. I paid, and it's been like, if all things went well, I should have had, I think, like a week ago, I should have had them and they should have been fine. But now I'm still waiting, and like,
Mine are in grading status, and they were received July 15th is the day I did it, and I didn't fast track, and these aren't walkthrough. These are just
and you have to like, fight to have them pay for their mistake, which feels kind of sucky to have to do that. Any other business would be like, sorry, and not only will we expedite everything quick because you pay for the fastest service and their expensive books, but we will give you something. That's how most businesses who aren't monopolies do things.
Very, yeah. One of the sorry for the cough. CGC has been good to me here and there. I mean, I've had my issues. I've been with them for a long time. But majority, I like them. They've been really helpful for me on issues, getting things on slabs. I've gotten a few recognitions of some golden age works by some artists. That's a process in itself that is time consuming. I mean, you've got to wait a year before they have to do a lot of research. You do your research, you send it in. I did that for a lot of early Buscema stuff, and I got word that they will recognize John Buscema's first works.
And do they give you anything for that?
No. But I do want I got to send in a pedigree list. No, I mean, I really have a lot of Silver and Bronze Age pedigrees from the Western Pen that are now getting to be keyer.
I mean, you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
If I were the company, I would say, hey, send us what you think should be on our slabs that we missed, and we'll give you a free slab. You know, and they're gonna get all this awesome information, like, and it's a fun thing, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, what else? Oh, the main topic we want to talk tonight. By the way, I want to shout out some people in the chat that just came on board. Once again, Bub's Comics, thanks a lot for being here. I see Golden Age Guru is here. Very cool. Thanks for joining us. Main topic we had the show, I guess, for the remainder of the show, because it'll be a fun one, maybe. Last night, Alec on his show with Hudat and who else was on that show?
It was Hudat, John, and Alec.
Yeah, and they were talking about the comic marketplace. It was just a really good topic and everything else. One of the things we wanted to address here is how does the overall market, the overall comic market, what's in the bubble, the boom, the correction that's about to happen, what everybody calls it, how does it affect the golden age? And the answer is, to me, it's more people at cons than ever, more people buying golden age books than ever, and it's got a lot more competitive. That's
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the volatile, sort of on the edge, most volatile area of the comic market is modern variants and movie specs. That stuff is like the nitroglycerin of comic market. It's up and down. It spikes like crazy. It's unpredictable. There's a lot of action. It's like heavy action, heavy volatility.
It's like day trading.
Yeah. So that action is sort of like almost like 1849, and it brings a lot of people into the hobby, either because they like the books, they like the characters, or they like money, or they like gambling, or they like investing, or they just like being in the game. There's a lot of reasons, but whatever, those people get in. Once you get in, that funnel, that rabbit hole goes all the way down to the golden age. But if you can get through the filter at the top and funnel down into bronze, and then into silver, and then the natural progression is you get into gold, by the time you get down there and you look up to the top of the rabbit hole, you can't see that wild action on the modern spec movie stuff anymore. The market down there at the bottom is insulated from that. It's like, being on the ocean floor, you're not getting any sunlight. It's a whole different market. And what's happening is all this stuff at the top is bringing tons more people down that rabbit hole, and they're discovering gold at the bottom, and they're just loving it. And prices are really going up like crazy. There's a lot more people. There's a lot more demand. And those books have a very limited supply. You see them come out because of prices, but still the demand is going up more than the supply is. And that's generating increased prices among golden age market is what I think. And I don't think, people there's going to be a comic book market crash. I mean, there could be crashes for variants. I think that's certainly going to happen. Movies are becoming so commonplace that I almost would not be surprised if the novelty of a comic book
appearance of that villain
comic, it's just going to become like another variant, and it's going to become so common. It's not going to have the same effect that it had initially, that still sort of has. But even now, you can see the characters like Gamora and Darkseid. No, it wasn't Darkseid. Who was that one? Some of the characters, some of the villains are not holding up on the movies anymore, and that's going to fade. And I don't know if it'll continue or not. But if
Loki, I mean, it's one of those things. There's
market at all. The golden age market is just based on expensive, rare art that has a really cool aesthetic look to it that's very unique for what it is. And once you get down into that, I don't think any crash up top is going to affect that much. It may not bring people in, but I don't think people will leave that market.
One of the reasons I think, I paid for this book because it was used in Soti, Seduction of the Innocent. It completes my jungle collection book of every jungle and jungle themed comic that was mentioned in Soti. Now, a good example of what he's talking about is, I know this book, exact book. I remember when the guy had it, and he had it slabbed. And I knew his grade. I knew this was the book. I know what he paid for it. It was, I think, $50, and the slab back then was whatever it was. I forget what it was. I think he used a coupon back then, whatever they used coupons for. Gets graded, comes back. This is its grade. he puts it out there on a buy it now of 500. People talk about it but don't do anything. He puts it out on an auction, and I buy it for 135. After people saw what I got and they realized what it was, that the specimen he had was fine. I've been offered a lot more for this book, and I've been debating on selling it. It doesn't have an elephant, just because people have been asking about this more and more. And I saw Rick put one out recently, and another guy put one out recently. And they're like, "That's a straight up Matt Baker." Straight up Matt Baker and Maurice Whitman. But the thing about it is, what I could care less about that is, it is restored. But they found, like, I know with the restoration, as you can see, it's literally color touch tape to cover.
They need to restore that label. Your label is jacked.
Oh, I know. It's a big book. The Jungle's back. But this is number 98. This was a tough one, but this was used in Sodi. But I exactly did that. I remember nobody caring about this book and me being like, $50 for that? You got to be crazy. And now these things are ridiculous, and that's a short time. I've been doing the Jungles maybe for the last 4.5 years. So that's not that long, considering I've been doing it for 30 plus. So
When it comes down to it, the Golden Age market is really the only market that is based on rarity.
That's true.
So I mean, it kind of has some insulation from the speculation ebbs and flows.
Yeah, they're never going to be any more. But at the same point in time, there was only so many of each one to begin with. Especially you talk about Knights of Old Book. Anything in Marvel Mystery, anything from the wartime in Marvel, that is a high grade, is ridiculous right now. I've never seen it like this in that market, because I've always wanted a few Captain Americas and stuff like that from the Golden Age. I had one or two, but then I sold them, and then I was like, all right, I'll get back into Captain America. I got the Shield. I'll do that, and now I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, the prices are just
I mean,
crazy.
The ones in the 50s, like Captain America post 44, is just ridiculous after that. 1945 and before are just valuable books, the wartime books, so to speak.
Well, I feel like you want to get, if you are thinking about selling it at some point, I think the more things you can get, the more like check boxes you could click off of your book, the better. Like, is it historical, which kind of like is World War II?
Right.
Is it a super good artist? Yes, check. Is it a well-known superhero? Yes. Is it a classic cover? Yes. Is it in that in this book? Like, there's so many things that not only make it a little safer as far as potential,
I think
but it's also a good story to talk about. There's like things to talk about your book. It becomes like a good coffee table kind of thing. And I think those are safer because they're still, they've been valuable a long, long time. So they're very proven too.
We got buffers. We got buffers in the Golden Age. We got buffers.
Yeah, the only thing that will happen, I mean, look, all markets are susceptible. Well, I shouldn't even say susceptible. This occurs in all markets. You have dips and rises. You have trends. That occurs in any market. Stock markets, baseball cards, comic books.
Ebbs and flows.
Paintings. It doesn't matter. The markets operate the way markets do. It doesn't matter what you put in the market. But the Golden Age market doesn't have anything with movie spec or variants. But right now, there's a bit of a bubble on books that are not rare. They're like iconic and they're popular, and like Horrific 3 is an example. Or Chamber Chills 19.
Bullet to the Head, John Head cover.
They're valuable. They're top-notch books. I love them. That pre-code horror stuff I love. Some of them are not that rare compared to other stuff in the market. And the prices people are paying for now for it are essentially they're paying top dollar. They're putting these at the top of the market for books that are the least rare. Chamber of Chills 19 is not a rare book. There's tons of them out there. And as the price goes up, the market gets flooded with the supply of those. You notice this if you watch, if you check like eBay obsessively, like me, several hours a day scrolling through these things, you will see as prices in some of these Comic Link or Heritage auctions on a certain book start popping, they will start having those every month, Heritage, Comic Link, and Comic Connect. Then you'll see all these low-grade ones popping up weekly on eBay and sitting there, and nobody's inclined to jump on a buy it now on a book like a Black Cat 50, which was impossible to find 2 years ago. It was a ghost. But, you know, there's 80 of them on the census or whatever. Now there's, you know, a new one on eBay every week. There's 2 coming up in the Comic Connect auction next month, 2 in the same auction. They're all over the place. They're not a common book, but it's more common than people thought. And it sort of has this image of being all over the place. When people see it on eBay and all these auctions, nobody jumps on the buy it nows, and then the sellers are trying to cash in. They're competing with each other, and the price goes down a little bit. And that's what's happening. I tried to sell my Black Cat 50. I hardly got any bites. And it's a freaking 7.0, and it's the top PCH book. That's fine. I'll keep it. I'm not dying to sell that book, but I would have cashed in on a huge profit and doubled my money on it. But I'll keep it. But those prices are starting to soften or weaken. They're being undermined a little bit. And that's what happens. So if you find something that's quality art, that has that golden age art quality to it, that's rock solid and rare, that's a great investment, because right now people are going after popular stuff, not necessarily the rare stuff. And it's creating a bit of a bubble on some of the more common golden age stuff, I think.
I kind of call this, and this is why I don't think the golden age is a bubble. And I don't think comics in general is a bubble. I think it's more that what we're expecting to happen soon is a correction. And a correction in the market to where people are going to get fed up with exactly what we've been talking about. If that's the case, I mean, I don't know, because I'm taking advantage of it. So I'm guilty of selling things right now. I'm going through books, like everything from San Diego that was a big name. Go get books that I think are on the downward side in the golden age. And that's exactly how I do everything. And that's the only way to do it at this age and this with kids and everything else. You can't accumulate more without getting rid of something. And I think we're all in that boat. And that's the way we can continue to do it, you know. I've got the Jane Foster Thors. I've got the What If. I've got the Avengers 196. I got all that fun stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what half of it is. All I know is I keep getting bings. I'm like, I think I got that. Put it away, ship it up to CGC or Paul first. Paul, you might be getting a few of these. Paul, by the way, great presser. 3 books. I have. We're expecting by next week. I'll be giving him grades on 4 of the 5. Well, how many did you do? 5 of the 6? I don't know. 6 books.
I think I did 5.
5 books, so 4 of the 5. The only one that I haven't sent in yet is the Silver Surfer 3, because I'm sending it in with number 2. Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a couple other markets, to talk about, like, the movie spec. I think you can make money on it if you're in and out quick and you keep up on the news. But in the digital age, it's like light speed, and I don't have the wherewithal to keep up on that. I can't. I'll lose money if I try to trade in modern variants.
Unless you have it already, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't interest me enough to get that into it. It devotes a lot of time, but you can make money at that. Copper Age is good because copper keys in super high grade with perfect wraps are decent investments, and you can find the way I invest or flip in Copper Age stuff is the difference between raws and slabs for like 9.6, 9.8. There's a huge discrepancy. So you can buy up raw coppers, but they're so common in high grade. The only way to make money is to sell a high grade slab, and there is a spread there, and you can do that, and that you can do at your leisure. It's not related to when a movie's coming out. Bronze Age, there's a lot of bronze keys that are just steady growers. It's like bronze is becoming the new silver, and all you have to do is buy and hold top bronze books in VF grades or VF or even a mid grades, and just buy them. There's enough of them out there. You can pick your spots and pick them and hold them for a year or so and turn them. And you can find deals on raw ones, or people sell a lot of packages of those on eBay, lots and stuff. So bronze is a very good way to get in and out and make money. Silver Age, I don't do too much in the Silver Age. It seems like The keys, I've sort of, missed the boat on those. The prices are already so high, I wouldn't even know what. The Silver Age is so well known. It's the most popular category. There's no surprises left hardly in the Silver Age.
That's the funny thing with San Diego. There was one. Strange Tales 109. That is a pre Doctor Strange Tales. It's a Human Torch.
That's the type of book that you got to sell now.
Like that book is the first appearance of Cersei, if anybody knew that. Who's one of the she's an Eternal, but you don't know that at this point. And she's in the prominent Human Torch storyline too. It's not like this was the last major Human Torch storyline for a while. This was the big one before the Thing and joined them and everything else, but it was big. In Strange Tales, it was good writing. Did go at it. Everybody was at their best, their top game, and they introduced this character, and that book was maybe $100 to $200 book in a medium grade. It's went to $500-700 in a week.
That's the perfect example of
that many
you gotta sell, right? Because I
collect all the Strange Tales.
Over time, 99% of these comics aren't going to be worth much, and so if you could keep the super keys, like Fantastic Four #1,
5,
maybe that's it.
48.
I don't even know. I mean, yeah, there's other ones, but I mean, really,
48 is ridiculous. It's Silver Surfer, and I'm biased.
That's not that uncommon book, and it's like so hype now. I mean,
there's some types of art.
They've been up and down like this.
Comic books that are popular, like 1920s and 1930s movie posters. Those are hella expensive, and those are very similar in style, and they attract the same type of collectors that some of the Golden Age creepy noir horror stuff does. So
I can see that.
30 years behind in age, I think there's future growth for a lot of Golden Age categories to continue, but I can certainly see prices dipping significantly on some of this stuff in the near future. But long term, I think they will continue to rise. The time leap for what you spoke about, the horror and the stuff I collect anything Golden Age non-superhero, essentially. Creepy, noir, dark, horror type Golden Age stuff. That appeals to me. I like it. The same reason I would like to have an original Dracula poster or a 1950s sci-fi movie poster, or I'm just calling it movie posters. Those movies also are popular. Any type of visual art that has that dark theme. As we move on, the dark themes become more popular in society, and these are like the original dark art, visual arts in America. And I think long term they are good investments, but I think right now the prices are a little inflated. I mean, $5,000 for like a 3.0 of a book from 1952. That's a horror book that there's quite a few of them out there. That sounds like a lot of money for like a low grade book that's not that hard to find. I'm not paying that for these right now, but 10 years from now, I could see them being worth 10 grand because they're going to be even harder to find as time goes on.
If people still care, though. The way I look at it is like, I imagine someday in the future, the people will be like, what the hell was a comic book? And if you looked it up, it'll like, what will it say in there? Like comic book, it might list 5 or 6, right? And then maybe it'll say like Jack Kirby, and then you might look up Jack Kirby, and it'll say like 3 or 4 books maybe, or characters, 5. Like that's the way you got to look at it. Like, and everything else could be totally forgotten. The same way you're saying Dracula. There were tons of cool movies and posters, but
they're all collectible. They're all collectible. If you get into movie posters,
especially Universal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those. Even for movies I never heard of, I'll see the poster go for a lot of money because I sort of watch that market. And there's movie posters that go for a lot of money based on the artist, based on the style, based on the layout and the colors and the theme of the poster itself. For a crappy B horror movie from the 1950s that I never even heard of the movie, and I watch those movies all the time. And there's some I'm like, never even heard of that one. and the poster goes for a lot. You know, when TVs were invented and radios weren't the form of entertainment in the living room anymore, and now we have a digital age, antique radios are very collectible. The antique typewriters are very collectible. You know, a Morse code machine from World War II is collectible. I mean,
I have a 19.
They become more collectible. They become antiques that are obsolete, and so you know as time goes on in the digital age, comic books become more of an antique, cool, obsolete type paper reading thing, and I think it helps the value that I don't think
I have a 1919 Brunswick record player that still works, still plays those old school 70 big old things like this. It's the first record player. It's 1919. It's after Edison's tube, and then Edison did the horn, and the horn was put down here, 1919 Brunswick. And I have the original bill of sale, and some guy paid $1965 off that at a store in 1923. That was quite a bit of money back then, you know.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is if you're in a market that is expensive now and all the books are high, kind of big rise, you might not want to buy anything except perhaps the super key, because that's going to continue, and the other stuff will, but slower, you know. And obviously, if you get a good deal, then yeah, an antique, awesome.
What do you want to collect?
This is one of the best investments I've made recently. I have 3 of these, and this is just.
I know that's going to be that's right in
the wheelhouse of collectible for people that like this type of art. And
so undervalued book.
It's cheap for me. I picked up all 3 of these for like $600 for the 3 of them, and I'm going to sell 2 of them at some point. And I'm telling you, this is a great investment, and it's just so hard to find. It's not a key. It's just a book that a lot of people are not really even aware of, and when they see
it's one of the it's a famous cover because of the shadows and everything, and that's what it's been talked about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kick-ass cover with a werewolf on it and the shadows. It's from 1947. It's just
very, very good
art. I'm telling you, that's a really good book to own. It's not a key. It was cheap for me to get, but I'll make my money back for all 3 from selling 2 of them, and I will keep the highest grade essentially for free, and I will keep it for many years, and it will be a great investment. Because that's the type of thing I'm talking about. That's the type of noir sort of horror book. It's super hard to find, and it's just so cool. And I mean, it's not iconic like Chamber of Chills 19. It's far more rare, and it's almost as cool, really.
Well, that's like I was buying. Like 5-6 years ago, I was getting any timely book for like $200. Like anything I found under $200, I would just buy it. And then 4 or 5 years later, they were all at least 500, or some of them a lot more. And yeah, I mean, if you can do things like that, where you see something that's kind of not flatlining, but just not super spiky, and really make it good.
I've been fortunate that I bought a lot of books in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and 60s, and at cheap prices in the 90s. But I also didn't realize how much of the stuff that is what I would consider God of Thunder, by the way, was a series that everybody read. It was a great Thor series. I know what number 25 variant. I know what I paid for it. It's I paid on issue date. I know it was a 1 in 25, so I paid $10. I don't know what it's worth now because people are saying $200. I'm like, whatever. It's ridiculous. Now I've got to think about breaking up a set, but I'm like, you know what? Break up the freaking set.
Yeah, do it. You can get it
right now. What are you doing? Why didn't I do this before with Nolan? I've been sitting back I should have been doing this a while ago. So I got this whole plan to sell everything before the first trailers come out on the shitty movies. So
you can get most of it here anytime.
Yep. Well, I wanted to shout out the chat one more time. Thanks again, everybody, for coming here. Paul, you got anything to say? I didn't really introduce you.
No.
Oh, that's good, Paul. Thanks.
I'm just chilling out today.
Yeah, just chilling out. Good. He's a good man. Thank you, everybody, much for joining us. We had a great time with this topic. Again, everybody's links are now in the chat, and I will please check out everybody's channel. And you never know, you might catch a cool unboxing where someone gets the highest grade on the census.
And I got one coming. I got an Airboy book. It's coming. There's only one on census. It's a 3.5. Mine is easily a 4.5. So that will be the highest grade on the census.
Nice.
Nice.
We'll watch the trial of the Airboy at CGC. We'll wait for updates weekly. Sounds good. Thank you all for being a friend. Have a good one.